The player who integrated Yeoman's program was Warren McVea. The recruiting process to get him was not easy at all. Other schools pulled out all the stops for McVea, Robert. What were these other schools doing to get McVea, and how did Bill Yeoman pull it off?
It was very much a surprise when Yeoman did pull it off. For example, one of the schools Warren really thought about going to was University of Missouri, because another great player from Texas, Johnny Rowland, who had played for Corpus Christi Miller back in 1960, he'd gone up there, and a lot of the black players from Texas idolized Johnny Rowland. And I know Missouri, they had Harry Truman write Warren a letter trying to get him to go there since Truman was from Missouri. When he went out to UCLA for a recruiting trip, they used Jackie Robinson, Rayford Johnson, the great decathlete and everything. And pretty much schools, did whatever they could to try to get him to come there, including some under the table things, illegal things, which, those things happened back then just like they do today. But yes, it was very much a surprise that Warren ended up at Houston. The thing Coach Yeoman talked about with that is, and Warren said it too, is, Warren was a mama's boy, and he didn't want to go far from his mother. And, he's from San Antonio, and, Houston just 200 miles down the road. The closest major university to San Antonio was, UT, but they hadn't integrated yet. And UT did show some interest in Warren McVea, but in the end, they decided not to recruit him. U of H was really the largest major college that was close to him. And like I said, he wanted to be close to his mother. So that was a big factor. And then I also mentioned in the book, it was a collaborative effort by a lot of people in Houston. A couple of the assistant coaches like Chuck Fairbanks, the sports information director, Ted Nance, Lloyd Wells, who I mentioned earlier, leader in the black community, Don Schwarak, the gentleman who became the U of H assistant basketball coach. He became good friends with Warren and everything. So it was just it's just all kind of fell into place. And it's so much different back then than it is today, recruiting wise. Now people, they commit a year early, and I think they're going to have an early signing period now for high school players, football. But Warren didn't sign his letter of intent until July, not long before the school year started. And I asked Warren, I said, why'd you wait so late? And he said, well, he just hadn't made a decision yet. And but he decided to go to U of H. And what a lot of people don't realize is Warren was the top recruit in the whole country. Every college wanted him. Back in the day, once Yeoman came along, U of H really did get some exceptional athletes. Some of those teams that McVea played on at U of H, they had 8-9 guys go to the pros back then in the 60s and early 70s. Yeoman really did change the face of college football around here, starting with Warren McVea.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.